To the shoulder or to the bicep?
You know,
to the
I don't
elbow?
like this.
To the elbow.
Bicep to the shoulder.
Listen, I waive all
that's what I'm
liability.
different. No. You have
I want
to
to
do
be
it.
choked out. We're talking freaking 100 million views, #1 podcast.
No.
No, it would be ugly.
No.
Little dream, and then you come right back.
It's like DMT.
It is.
You hate that shit.
James on point as always.
All right, let's get serious.
Let's get serious.
Let me just say a few things before he goes down this road.
Okay.
These are the notes.
What are the road?
I'm not going down no road.
What were we just talking about?
We know what the road is.
You're talking about George Soros.
No. We passed that.
Okay.
What were we just talking about? You were talking about the strip club, the guy choking the girl out, the girl choking the guy out, the guy falling and hitting his head. And then what happened after that? Any ideas? Jamie? No one. Everyone's stupefied.
Or that?
More of that?
I remember
Eating
one
babies?
time I got choked out. I remember
They're
lots of
eating
them.
babies.
I remember one. It was cool.
I don't think I've ever been choked completely out.
The first
Maybe for
time
a
I
second.
got choked out was like this 17-year-old super hot chick, and I was like 13,
Tied up.
and she lived down the street. No, and she goes, I got promiscuous when I was pretty young, like 12, and she goes, I'll have sex with you. This is a true story. I'll have sex with you if you let me put makeup on you. So I'm not into gay stuff or anything. So the girl puts the makeup on me and I have sex with her, and she's super hot. And then like a week later, she goes, now I'm going to choke you out. And that relationship went really well until her like 30-year-old boyfriend caught me at her place once because her mom was always working.
Oh my
and
God.
tried to kill me in the parking lot.
Oh my God. I'll have sex with you if I can put makeup on you.
I let her. It's a full deal.
Dude, listen, you're a wise man. that bitch can dress me up like a clown. You know? Why not?
Anyways, that's
Who
another
gives a
story.
shit? You still
So
get to have sex?
here's some of the things I have, and then we can go forever. Here goes. Not conspiracies, but real-world programs developing a breakaway civilization. What is a breakaway civilization? You understand that? It's the key to everything. Standardized total surveillance control grid. The power to spy is the power to control. Human-animal hybrids, we already covered that.
Yep.
Mass farming of humanoid tissue, transhuman endgame.
We covered that.
Multi-layered binary weapon delivery systems. That's one we haven't had.
Oh, what's that?
Well, we'll get into some of that. The thing is 5G behavioral modifications. We hit that. Trojan horse delivery systems, cell phones, vaccines. GMOs have been tested and designed to hurt you. Again, vaccines are real. You can give somebody something that gives them the cure to another disease that they would get, but they're jacking it like a cell phone. They're adding stuff. Your ticket to immortality.
Wait a minute, what do you think is, let's cover that. What do you think is happening with vaccines?
I know.
Okay, tell me what's going on.
I always use this because everyone's heard of it. Everyone heard about 1947 to 1983, and it only came public because the program was exposed in Peru and exposed in West Virginia, but the media picked up because it was white on black. Not all the white people it happened to. I don't care if you're black or white. Injecting over 1 million people with live syphilis in the name of vaccines. You know about Tuskegee?
I do know about that.
But you only know about Alabama and over 40-something years only injecting blacks. But it happened all over the world. Search engine, Hillary Clinton apologizes for syphilis experiments in
Tuskegee.
It wasn't Tuskegee. It was in Peru.
Can I ask you this? Was the Tuskegee the conventional story that they had syphilis but they weren't really curing them?
That's a cover. No.
But is that what they say?
No. If you actually read it, no, they were giving him syphilis.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. But was the conventional explanation of what happened? Was that they knew that they had it and they allowed them to
that was the first
pretend
cover
they're
story that
treating
came
it?
out. Okay, have you heard about...
Here it is right here. U.S. apologizes for Guatemala STD experiments.
That's another one.
Can you make that bigger?
They did all over the world.
A different one?
Just type Peru in.
Hold on.
Captain Peru, and this is what
Can you make that a little... Go scroll up so I can read it? U.S. government medical researchers intentionally infected hundreds of people in Guatemala, including institutionalized mental patients with gonorrhea and syphilis without their knowledge or permission more than 60 years ago. Jesus Christ.
So, Joe, again, when you've read, because what I do is...
Oh, Jesus Christ, look at this. Many of those infected were encouraged to pass the infection on to
eugenics.
others as part of the study. Where is this in? What is the website
News.
here?
Can you imagine,
This is NBC News?
Can you imagine finding out you have syphilis but you've never had sex before?
Let me stop.
Jesus
I'm gonna
Christ.
Can you
give
imagine how confused you'd
Are you
be?
ready for another ultra secret?
So this is 46 to what? 1946 to...
Sorry. What? I don't know.
It says it at the bottom.
Notice
46
it's
to
exact years I told you?
1948. God damn.
And that's just a
1946
whitewash. That's a whitewash. That's not true.
Okay.
It's not 2 years. Okay. So let me expand. Then imagine, Joe, here's what's happened.
Okay.
We had a real liberal media in this country. They weren't leftists. That's occultic. That's different. We had a real liberal media in this country that had problems, but they really cared.
They were open-minded. And
Like
they were
when I said Delta,
focused on information.
a few years after I proved Delta Force was in Seattle in 99 and proved it, they all said, Alex Jones is right. It's incredible.
That's the WTO tape that I always cite. That we showed the agent provocateurs went into a peaceful protest and started smashing windows.
And I'm not against the Army, but Delta Force ran it. Because they always go, oh, now the Army's terrorist. Like you said, don't call it the whole government, a select group of the Army did that. They staged it. So imagine, used to, the press would get a lot of stuff right, but they would get demoted or whatever would happen. Once Trump got in, which I don't think Trump's bad and at gut level I think he's good, but I almost think like it's more sophisticated. They put him in knowing it'd piss everybody off to get the liberals who traditionally have been the real watchdogs for free speech and against human experimentation. And suddenly they're like in Gallup polls, we love war, we love experimentation, we love everything. I'm getting chills right now. And so imagine, Joe, I've been on air for 23 years and I'm a news hound. I spend 4 or 5 hours a day reading news. So I don't just believe NBC News that our government gave people. Notice I said Peru because that was a big documented case. You just found Guatemala.
Different
I can't
case,
keep track of this. Well, it's the same program.
Did it everywhere,
and it went on to the 80s. It's still going on. So imagine, I have literally, by the time Sandy Hook happens, I've literally seen 10,000 articles and documents or more where they're admitting in 1962, the Joint Chiefs of Staff under L.L. Emitzer came to President Kennedy, this is on PBS, and said, we're going to blow up buildings, shoot up schools and movie theaters, and bomb Army bases and Marine bases. We're going to have people with their kids with names changed that are CIA get on a jumbo jet that takes off. It gets blown up over the Caribbean. We blame Cuba, but that plane really lands. And there's another plane that's a drone we blow up. And then Kennedy says no, but his brother says, no, I'll do it. That's why they killed Kennedy, because Bobby said he would, but then he got pissed when they killed his brother. This is all declassified. He wanted to bomb the Honduran embassy and blow up stuff and go to war with Moscow. Bobby was bad. You could actually, you can pull this up. Pull up, Bobby Kennedy wanted to bomb the U.S. Embassy in Honduras. This is declassified. And so imagine, you see hundreds of these, and then a Sandy Hook happens and your listeners don't buy it, and then it's a psychosis where then, well, because every man I knew this is hypothetical, my dad was great. Every man I knew when I was a kid backhanded me and beat the crap out of me, so men are bad. Or a woman that's been raped, she thinks all men are bad. So I get like this psychosis, and I'm not trying to put myself down like I'm a victim. I'm being honest retrospectively that it got to where when I learned that so much stuff was false, then later I experienced where I had the guest, I did the thing, I knew it was true, and then people made up a whole story because they don't believe anything anymore. So that's all I'm trying to say.
Do you think part of it is that even though this stuff does exist, it's almost like there's too many things happening for one person to pay attention to all of them? And if you're only focusing
informational overload.
Yes,
exactly.
If you're only focusing on that aspect of life, it can be incredibly overwhelming because you start thinking that's the whole world. That the whole world is these conspiracies. Because these are the things you're concentrating on primarily.
But this is what I'm saying.
That's it.
He just talked about Operation Northwoods. That whole thing.
Yeah.
That was Operation Northwoods.
Yeah.
That is that's about
by the
as
way, that's
hot.
ABC
That's
News.
about as hot. That's
It's
true.
as clear
You
as
agree.
day.
Yeah,
It's
it's
clear as
clear as
day.
day.
By the way, I broke that.
But if you break it down
Did
and
you?
you look at it,
I'll tell you.
You look at Operation Northwoods. You look at that shit. That is about as gangster and sinister and evil as you can.
Yeah,
fucking
we
get.
went over it just a little while ago. We were going into
totally.
it before
So
you got
my
here.
point is, if you believe that, no other conspiracy theory, whether they're right or wrong, like government conspiracy, should be ridiculed. You shouldn't. There should be no ridicule.
You're right. You should, instead of looking at them with ridicule, you should look at them objectively. All of them.
And exactly. And the only people that have a right to ridicule conspiracy theories are people that don't believe in any conspiracy theories. If you don't believe in any of them, yes, I understand why you're ridiculing it. I
Well, it's
deal
like
with
you
those
say,
people all the time.
what's the
but if
saying
you
that's on
believe
your
in
t-shirt?
some of them, the other ones you don't believe in, I think you should be more. I don't believe in that shit, but I understand why people do.
Well, that's going to be my defense. We can probably get this thrown out of court. I'm almost looking forward to trial in Texas and Connecticut, because I want to, and the lawyers already agreed, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to show them history and all these things and say, like, I mean, I watched the, it's already been out for like a year or two, but I watched the Minions 3 or 4, and it's like in the 60s, and they break onto the set of Hollywood and the moon landing's being staged. Now, astronauts died doing that. So how traumatic is that for their family? But I believe they
What
have the right.
astronauts died?
We're going to get to it in a minute.
Wait, astronauts died? Which ones? Oh, a space shuttle.
Well, we're going to talk about it.
No,
Which
the guys from Apollo
the launch
1.
pad,
Yeah, they were on the
Apollo
launch
7.
Oh, you're
Was it
talking about
1? What
9
Apollo
or 7
was it?
or...
Was
No, you're
one of the
talking-
early
which one did they
Apollos
burn up on
died
the
The one
launch
where they
pad?
were practicing.
Yes.
They were practicing. Okay.
Yes.